so good to hear people singing like down the block. It's great. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Emily. I'm an ICU nurse and one of the organizers of Healthcare Workers for Palestine. We are out here today on the 118th day of Israeli bombardment of Gaza. We're out here demanding that Multnomah County issue a long overdue ceasefire resolution. We are out here and we really shouldn't have to be. Why should we be standing out here calling for cutting off U.S. funding for the Israeli military when our own people right here in Portland are suffering? That's true. When our teachers have to strike to demand safe learning environments for our children. The nightmare that they are living through. I am watching in horror as my colleagues in Gaza sacrifice everything to protect those in their community, and in doing so are met with the full military might of the Israeli government. Over 400 healthcare workers have been killed in Gaza since October 7th. Healthcare workers are being kidnapped, ambulances and hospitals are being bombed. Out of 36 hospitals in the Gaza Strip, none remain functional. Their entire healthcare system has collapsed, yet every day is a mass casualty. People are starving. Desperately needed humanitarian aid is being denied entry. The World Health Organization has warned that at this point it is likely that more people in Gaza will die from disease and infection than from the war itself. And none of this even begins to touch on the grotesque health inequities that existed for Palestinians living under Israeli occupation long before October 7th. This is structural, it's built in, it's on purpose. There is nothing controversial about condemning any of this. We in the healthcare community, as advocates, as trusted and respected members of this society, have a duty to stand firmly alongside every single person in this country and the rest of the world to demand an end to the occupation and the genocide. But you don't have to be a healthcare worker to feel repulsed watching a father dig his lifeless child from under the rubble with his bare hands. You don't have to be a healthcare worker to see Israeli soldiers open fire on men, women, and children waving white flags and to know that there's something gravely wrong with this picture. You don't need to work in healthcare to watch the collective punishment of a people continue day after day with impunity, and to see clearly that this aggression is not simply about the eradication of Hamas, but rather an attempt at the purposeful erasure of the Palestinian population. You don't need a medical degree to understand why the use of white phosphorus violates international law when it is used on purpose against civilian targets. A quick internet search will tell you very clearly that white phosphorus is a chemical which ignites instantly upon contact with oxygen, that it causes severe and deep burns which penetrate to the bone. Care of the patient exposed to white phosphorus is extremely dangerous, as those treating the patients risk exposure themselves, and apparently this chemical has a tendency to reignite. As such, treatment involves continuous irrigation with clean water, and we all know why that's a problem in Gaza. You most certainly do not need experience in the healthcare field to question where the victims of this illegal incendiary warfare will seek treatment for their devastating wounds when there are no hospitals in Gaza that haven't been destroyed. You don't have to be a healthcare worker to stand and cry out that hospitals are not a target. Schools are not a target. Places of worship are not a target. Children, journalists, doctors, nurses, paramedics are not targets. Not in Palestine, not anywhere, ever. The polls say that over 60% of the population in this country want a ceasefire. And can you imagine what it would look like if we all stood together to say no? There are so many of us, so many more of us than there are of them. We are here in the belly of the beast, and it is our tax dollars being used to purchase the bombs falling on Gaza. If we say no, all of us, and we show that we really mean it, we actually could make it stop. Those people in there, it is their job to represent us. and therefore it is up to us to hold them to account, to never stop believing in and fighting for the liberation of all people. Free Palestine.
Free Palestine!
Up with liberation!
Down, down with occupation!
Down, down with occupation!
Up with liberation!
Up with liberation!
Down, down with occupation!
Down, down with occupation!
Up with liberation!
Up with liberation!
Down, down with occupation!
Down, down with occupation!
Thanks, y'all. I want to invite every one of us just to take a moment and take a deep breath.
Sure.
The sun is shining here in Portland, Oregon on Chinook
I've got yours, I
land.
believe. So, yeah.
So many folks from so many communities and so many organizations are here this morning. We have at least 45 different organizations and countless individuals who signed on in support of the Multnomah County Ceasefire resolution. Give it up for yourselves.
Yeah.
Give it up for all the many hours of labor and organizing that have gone into each and every time we show up on these streets. I just want to share that Multnomah County actually, if you didn't know, because I certainly didn't, has a legacy of supporting human rights. In 1982, this board passed a resolution to divest from corporations doing business with South Africa during its racist apartheid regime. Because of its first-hand experience with apartheid today, as we know, South Africa has courageously taken a moral stand and taken it upon itself to file charges of genocide against Israel in the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. We're seeking this Board of Commissioners to vote in line with their values, with these values, and this legacy against genocide, and adopt this ceasefire resolution. All right. Do you want to add anything? Okay, we're gonna learn one more song before we start to transition inside. Raising our voices, higher and higher, with people power, we call for a ceasefire. Raising our voices, higher and higher, with people power, we call for a ceasefire. Raising our voices, higher and higher, with people power, we call for a ceasefire. Raising our voices, higher and higher, with people power, we call for a ceasefire. One more time, raising our voices, higher and higher, with people power, we call for a ceasefire. Woo! We're doing ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! No more money for Israel's crime! No more money for Israel's crime! Not another nickel! Not another dime! Not another nickel! Not another dime! No more money for Israel's crime! No more money for Israel's crime! Money for healthcare and education! Money for healthcare and education! Not for war and occupation! Not for war and occupation! Money for healthcare and education! Money for healthcare and education!
occupation.
Not for war and occupation.
Not for war and occupation.
Every day, every night.
Every day, every night.
Palestine is our fight.
Palestine is our fight.
Every day, every night.
Every day, every night.
Palestine is our fight.
Palestine is our fight.
Every day, every night.
Every day, every night.
Palestine is our fight.
Palestine is our fight.
Woo-hoo! And that's it. That's why we're here. Every day, every night, Palestine is our fight. This is not just a global issue. This is a local issue for so many countless reasons. Not only do billions of dollars in our taxpayer money go to fund instead of desperately needed domestic services like healthcare, education, housing. No, that's going to fund a genocidal military in Israel. That, to me, does not feel like the will of the people. The will of the people is demanding a ceasefire. We have been demanding a ceasefire for over 116 days now. It's past time for our government to listen to us, and we're here because we're not going away. We're not letting this die out. We're going to continue to show up until we get a ceasefire resolution and beyond that, because we know that ceasefire is only the first don't pass go stop. And the fact that it's taken over 116 days and we still haven't seen that first necessary step is disgraceful. Exactly. And so that's why, even if hopefully we see a ceasefire soon, but that's not going to stop us from taking to the streets, because there's so much more to do past that. There's so much more that we have a responsibility as U.S. taxpayers, as anyone in the U.S., to continually call out our government for the way that it's spending our money. Not only is it the money piece, but this is a local issue because it is impacting our local communities. It is impacting our Palestinian comrades. It is impacting the Arab and Muslim community as a whole, because we have seen, in response, rampant uptick in Islamophobia and anti-Arab hate. And that's something we will not stand for. We will not let that go by without speaking out and standing here to continually demand accountability. And